Your ex just learned that you're not like everyone else. They helped you do something wrong in a spiritual way. Pay close attention because what I'm about to tell you is not small or casual. This is the kind of truth that may change your heart, give you back your strength, and open a blessing you thought you had lost. Your ex has now accepted what they attempted to deny, that you were never ordinary, never average, never replaceable. And what they did to you was not only emotional pain, but also a spiritual offense. You might miss the healing and upliftment I'm sending to you right now if you don't pay attention. Say Amen as a comment. This is a simple and serious thing to say. When they lied, betrayed, made fun of, or left you, they weren't simply hurting one individual. They were fighting against the calling and protection I put on your life. They tried to make what I made less important. They listened to voices of jealousy, insecurity, and darkness that made them treat you like you were common when you were chosen. When someone knows they are trying to break what I am building, they are doing a spiritual crime. They thought you were weak because you were nice. They thought your allegiance was cheap and didn't care about it. They spotted your brightness and tried to hide it by lying, gossiping, or playing with your feelings. But suddenly something has changed in them. They are starting to feel the weight of their actions. They are realizing that losing you was not a stroke of luck or chance. It was the result of misusing something important. You weren't only a partner in their life. You were a gift from God to them. And they didn't take care of it. They felt very uncomfortable right away after realizing this. They felt it would be easy to find someone else to do your job. They believed that someone else would have the same grace, heart, and spiritual protection. Now they know that what you had was special. If this speaks to your soul, please take a moment to like the video. Your agreement makes the breakthrough that is happening in your life even stronger. You have cried in private. You doubted your value. You thought about the talks you had and wondered if you were too much or not enough. But I was watching every cry and writing down every wrong. They helped commit a spiritual crime by working with people and activities that tried to hurt what I had blessed. Pride spoke louder than love for them. They let their egos get in the way of their honor. But they didn't get it. Being perfect doesn't keep you safe. Because you are mine, I will defend you. When they insulted your character, they hit a nerve with me. When they made fun of your religion or told you your dreams were silly, they were going against what I put in you. That's why they can't sit still now. They can't sleep the same way. They look at old photos and feel a pain they can't understand. They start to compare everyone to you, and no one measures up. This isn't about getting back at someone. It's about showing them something. I am making it plain to them what they used to not take seriously. Chosen one. You were in favor. You were bearing discernment. You had a level of emotional depth and spiritual knowledge that they weren't ready to handle. They thought your expectations were too high. They thought your limits were too strict. They thought your sensitivity was a bad thing. They now see it was smart. They now understand that it was protection. Now they recognize that it was love shown in a pure way. Comment 12:12. It wasn't just that they left. It was how they sought to change who you were after they left that was wrong. They told stories that made you look bad. They sought to make themselves and others believe that you were the problem. But every lie told about you will eventually come to an end. I don't let lies linger permanently around someone I have chosen for a reason. Truth always comes out. You thought you were losing when they left. In actuality, I was keeping you away from someone who couldn't take you where I'm bringing you. I was looking out for your upcoming season. They knew you weren't normal since normal individuals don't heal the way you did. People who aren't special don't recover and sparkle as you are. People who aren't hurt don't leave and still trust me. Your strength is what showed them they were wrong. Your calmness made them uneasy. Your growth showed them that they had messed up something precious. Don't get the wrong idea about this season. I'm not telling you to go back. I am phoning you to find out how much you are worth. When someone does anything wrong spiritually to a chosen one, things happen in a silent way. They miss out on chances. Relationships seem empty. Accomplishments do not bring happiness. It's not because I'm mean. It's because what they did to you taught me something. They need to learn what it is to be honorable. You, on the other hand, are going into restoration. I am filling back up what they tried to take from you. I am making you stronger in the places they tried to break you. You are not behind. You are not being turned down. You are elegant. The agony you felt has turned into a filter. You will never again overlook warning signs. You will never again ignore your gut feeling to make someone else feel better. I let this event make you stronger instead of breaking you. The next person who comes into your life will meet a smarter, clearer, and stronger you, and your ex is aware of it. They may see from a distance that you are getting up. They know that you aren't stuck in anger. That's why people feel bad about what they did, not because you're after them, but because you're doing well without them. You are divinely protected, chosen one. You are blessed by God. You are not like everyone else. And anyone who treats you like you're not special will eventually feel the loss deeply. Be strong in that reality. I'm changing what seemed like betrayal into preparation. I'm changing what felt like being turned down into being turned around. They tried to get their minds off of it at first. They told their buddies they were happier. They displayed smiles that didn't reach their eyes. They thought that walking away was a sign of power. But it was really fear. Fear of how deep you are. Fear of your rules. Fear of how easily you could see through their masks. You never let surface appeal fool you. You could tell that the tone was changing. You saw that the stories didn't always match up. You knew something was wrong, even if there weren't any clear words to say it. That kind of judgment isn't normal. That awareness doesn't just happen. It is part of the spiritual awareness I gave you. They now know that what they used to call overthinking was really their gut feeling. What they called insecurity was actually wisdom telling you to be careful. What they made fun of as intensity was actually commitment. Leave a comment that says, 333. They feel bad about this because it makes them face their own immaturity. They have to accept that they put their perplexity on you. They need to understand that instead of trying to meet you halfway, they sought to bring you down to their level. When someone does anything wrong spiritually to a chosen one, the wrong doesn't just go away. It stays there till knowledge comes. It weighs on their minds. It comes out when the room is dark and there isn't anyone around to impress. You might not see it, but I do. I can see the thoughts that come to me at night. I can see the discussions they plan to have with you but never do. I see how they scroll over your name and stop. They are starting to see that you weren't asking for too much. You wanted things to line up. You wanted the truth. You wanted love that was as strong as your loyalty. And since they couldn't give it to you, they decided to criticize you instead. It was easier to say you were dramatic than to say they were wrong. It was easier to say you were demanding than to admit they weren't following the rules. Chosen one, please listen to this clearly. Their inability was never a sign of your greatness. You weren't excessively intense. You were just focused. You weren't too sensitive. You were aware of your spirit. You didn't lost them. They lost touch with someone who prayed for them, believed in them, and truly cared about them. That's why they feel uneasy in their spirit. They are starting to realize that not every link can be replaced. Not everyone has the same grace and covering. You brought harmony to the tumult. You brought stability to their chaos. You had a quiet strength that kept things together more than you knew. When you went, whether you wanted to or were pushed away, there was a hole in their lives. They thought that someone else could do it swiftly. They assumed that getting attention from other people would help them deal with the loss. But being aligned is not the same as getting attention. Peace is not the same as noise. And you brought them serenity. Missing someone and realizing you messed up a blessing are two different things. They are no longer missing you. They now comprehend that they have disrespected something important. This is a spiritual issue because of that awareness. People who don't treat what I've marked well eventually feel the effects of that choice in ways that are small but strong. Doors that looked open start to close. Chances that were good start to go away. Relationships that once looked exhilarating start to feel empty. It is not punishment based on anger. It is correction based on truth. In the meantime, look at what I'm doing in you. You are stronger now than you were. Your limits are evident now. Your standards are higher. You don't ask for affection anymore. You don't chase for answers. You don't shrink to keep someone from going. That growth shows that I was dealing with your pain. Say, 777. From a distance, they can see how you've grown. They can tell you're sure of yourself. They can tell that you are no longer emotionally dependent on their approval. That's what surprises them. They thought you would stay stuck. They thought you would come back. You became better instead. Instead, you looked inside and up. You cried, but you didn't fall apart. You broke, but you didn't become angry. This is what sets you apart from others. Hearts that are ordinary harden after being betrayed. Yet chosen hearts get better. I am making you better so that you can find a love that fits your spirit. I'm getting you ready for relationships that respect your depth instead of being afraid of it. Don't let their late realization throw you off. Don't allow their regret hold you back. People sometimes realize how valuable you are only after they can't get to you anymore. Just because they know doesn't imply they're ready. It only implies they know. Being aware and being mature are not the same thing. You shouldn't think that their revelation means I should open doors I closed. There was a reason I closed those doors. I heard conversations that you didn't. I saw plans you never saw. I saw wounds in the future that would have been worse than the ones you already had. I was protecting your calling when I took you out of that scenario. I was protecting your future. You may have felt alone. You were saved. In fact, now they feel the burden of that rescue. They know that something kept you from getting stuck in a loop that would have worn you out. Chosen one. You are entering a time when you will no longer put up with confusion that looks like passion. You won't put up with inconsistency that looks as intricacy anymore. You will choose peace without saying you're sorry. You will pick alignment without fear. And the person who injured you in the past will remind you of how far you've come. Not as a temptation but as a witness. I still have work to do on you. I'm not done lifting you up. The spiritual crime that was done to you didn't change your destiny. It just showed who was ready to walk with you and who wasn't. Let them know. Give them time to think. Let them learn. You focus on getting up. I'm turning your suffering into understanding. I am making your tears into power. I'm taking your pain and turning it into a wall that will keep you safe in the future. You are not normal, and you were never supposed to be treated like everyone else. The next season of your life will show them that what they are going through is true and that you are blessed. You had more responsibility in that connection than you should have. You prayed for them while they weren't sure. You let go of anger as they turned away. You tried to talk to them when they didn't want to hear the truth. They are now thinking about those times again. They remember how you requested for further information in a calm way. They recall how you attempted to make things better instead of worse. They remember how you told them about trends that would cost them something valuable in the end. They rolled their eyes at the time. They thought you were making things up. They chose short-term ego over long-term stability. But the truth doesn't go away just because someone doesn't want to believe it. Truth is patient. Truth stays the same. Truth will ultimately show itself. That is what is going on right now. The things you used to say softly are now ringing loudly in their heads. The limits you set that seemed like a hassle suddenly seem smart. They are starting to understand that you weren't trying to control them. You were trying to keep the connection safe. You were attempting to keep your own heart safe while yet loving them. Comment 11. Chosen one. I need you to understand how much I was involved in this. When they said things to make you feel bad about yourself, I was secretly building up your sense of self. I was teaching you to appreciate your own voice when they didn't listen to you. You believed I was far away because I was quiet. I was actually working behind the scenes. I was isolating your value from what they thought of you. You were never meant to judge yourself by how much attention they paid you. You were never meant to doubt your calling because they were confused. The spiritual offense came from being disrespectful. They didn't give enough respect to what needed it. They didn't take care of things that needed it. You weren't just another part of their story. You were meant to be there. You were a mirror that showed them where they needed to grow. They didn't want to grow. They fought it. They didn't like how deep you were. They felt exposed by it. Someone who isn't ready to change doesn't like being exposed. So they blamed you for the pain that the truth caused them. But now that you're gone, they have no one to keep them from thinking about themselves. There is no one to put your hopes on. Only reflection exists. Thinking about things is powerful. Reflection makes you responsible. They are starting to see that your standards were not attacks. Your questions were not threats. Your need for consistency wasn't pressure. It was in line. It was health. It was being grown up. You are seeing something amazing happen in your own life. You are more at ease. You feel safer. You don't need to chase reassurance anymore. You have begun to like being alone. You are starting to trust your gut and not question every intuition. That growth is not small. That development shows that I was making you better through fire. You went through heartbreak and still believed. You were able to deal with disappointment without getting angry. That is not normal strength. That is grace working in your life. Say 555. Just because they feel bad doesn't imply you failed. Just because they realize it doesn't mean you should go back. Sometimes, individuals can only learn the lesson they need to learn by losing something. Sometimes, you only become aware of something after you've been apart from it. You don't have to be someone's instructor if it means giving up your tranquility. You don't have to put your own emotional safety at risk to assist someone grow up. I will take care of their progress. I will take care of their waking up. Your job is to keep going forward. The spiritual crime that was done to you didn't take away your light. It showed how bright that light really is. They felt that making you less bright would make them feel bigger. Instead, losing you made them feel smaller. They felt that putting you down would make them feel better about themselves. Instead, your absence showed how insecure they were. This isn't about them being in pain. This is about getting everything back in balance. You planted loyalty. You planted patience. You planted prayer. And even if they didn't give those items back, I saw every seed. I am not unfair. I don't disregard what is sown with good intentions. Your faithfulness will bring you a crop, and it won't go to someone who mistreated you. I am making connections that are worth your time and effort. I am putting up partnerships that show how honest you are. You won't have to beg for clarification in the next season. You won't have to convince someone to care about you. The one I am making for you will see how deep you are and feel honored, not scared. Your ex's realization is just proof that you were always working at a higher level than they thought you were. Don't let that confirmation make you weaker. Let it make you stronger. You are chosen not because you are flawless, but because you are willing to grow. You are favored not because you never hurt, but because you bring your hurt to me instead of letting it harden you. The crime against you won't be the most important part of your story. It will be a turning point. It will be the moment you stopped being okay with things. It will be the moment you realized that love without respect is not love at all. You will feel something change in your spirit as you move forward. You won't be as worried. You won't feel as connected to what could have been. That peace is my hand on your life. They might try to get back in. They might reach out with words that are full of regret. You won't respond out of loneliness when that time comes. You will respond clearly. You know who you are now. You know you're not like everyone else. You know that you have a purpose that can't be taken lightly. You know that any connection that makes you feel bad is too expensive. I'm raising your vision. I'm fixing the parts of you that still hurt. Don't rush through your process. Don't compare your timelines. The person who hurt you is learning from their mistakes. You are learning as you grow. There is a difference. Stay connected to me. Stay true to what you know. What felt like betrayal is now becoming preparation. What seemed like rejection is now redirection. You had a vision. You had faith when you talked about the future. You thought it was important to build something that was stable, honest, and in line with your values. That vision pushed them to do better. It showed them where they weren't being consistent. It showed where they were faking it instead of moving forward. They tried to make you smaller instead of bigger. They didn't make themselves stronger. Instead, they criticized your expectations. That's where the spiritual offense started to grow. They tried to make you doubt the good things I put in you. They made you think that your standards were too high. They made it sound like your need for depth was too much. They acted like your loyalty was stupid. But I was paying attention to every conversation. I was checking every intention. At times, you weren't sure of yourself. You thought about lowering your hopes just to keep the peace. You were unsure if love meant accepting less than you deserved. That mix-up wasn't a sign of weakness. It was the conflict between your calling and their limits. Say, 999. You must hear this loud and clear. Chosen one. I never told you to get smaller for anyone. I never meant for you to ignore your gut feeling to make someone else feel better. Your spirit is wired to know the truth. Your heart is made to be in sync with others. They were going against the grace that was covering the relationship when they tried to change it. Instead of being humble, they were acting out of pride. Now they have to deal with the consequences of that choice, which are not obvious to the public but are causing problems within the company. They can tell that what they have now is different from what they had with you. They see that there is no depth. They know that not everyone prays for them like you do. Not everyone sees their potential and still chooses to love them anyway. They are learning that your presence brought them peace that they didn't realize they needed at the time. At the same time, I am making you stronger from the inside out. I'm giving you back your confidence in areas where it was slowly being taken away. You don't feel like you have to prove your worth anymore. You don't feel the need to go on and on about how you feel anymore. You are getting more grounded. You are getting more stable. The spiritual crime that was done to you tried to make you doubt yourself. It tried to make you doubt what you thought was right. But instead of losing your focus, you made it sharper. You didn't lose your faith. You grew it. You started to pray with more purpose. You started to think about things more honestly. You stopped looking for validation and started looking for agreement. Say, 1010. This is what makes you different from other paths. You don't fall apart when someone betrays you. You change. You didn't let how they treated you define who you are. You gave me your pain and let me change it. I don't want to make you angry. I want to help you become smarter. You will never accept patterns like these again. You will never be able to ignore these red flags again. You now know that love that isn't consistent is confusing. You have learned that love without responsibility is not stable. They are coming to understand that you weren't hard. You were smart. They are beginning to understand that your limits were not meant to punish them. They were meant to keep them safe. But understanding doesn't always mean change. Being aware doesn't mean you are mature. Words alone should not move you. Don't let apologies that don't come with change sway you. I am very careful with your heart right now. I am controlling what comes into your space. You won't go through the same cycles again. You won't have to go over what you've already learned. The pain you went through has made you stronger. It has raised your hopes. You now know that love needs to be safe. Love has to feel steady. You won't accept chaos as chemistry anymore. Your ex can feel this change. They can tell that you are no longer emotionally available in the same way. They don't like that, because it means you're really moving forward. They used to think you would always be there. They thought that your loyalty would keep them safe. They now know that loyalty is a gift, not a promise. They know that once trust is broken deeply enough, it is hard to get back. This knowledge is hard for them to bear. But you, the chosen one, are lighter. You are lighter now that you don't have to deal with their inconsistency. You are no longer taking in their confusion. You let go of something that was never meant to define you. I'm getting you ready for connections that respect your energy. I'm putting you in touch with people who understand you deeply without feeling threatened. The spiritual offense against you didn't change your fate. It helped you make better decisions. It made you trust your gut feeling sooner. It taught you to pay attention when something seems off. You are entering a time when you will not be able to give up your peace. You will pick order over disorder. You will pick respect over intensity. And the person who hurt you in the past will always be a lesson, not a desire. Don't make what I took away sound romantic. Don't make what drained you sound cool. I took you out for your own safety. I separated you to raise you. You won't always be in doubt in the future. You won't have to walk on eggshells in your future. It includes a partnership that feels right. It has love that makes you feel safe. Your ex's realization is just proof that what they lost was rare. But what you are gaining is even better. Stay with me. Stay true to what you know. I am giving you back your sense of self. I am putting your happiness back together. And as you move forward, you won't look back with regret. Instead, you'll be thankful that I didn't let you stay where you weren't valued. You once loved someone in a way that ignored warning signs. You took chances when your mind told you to be careful. You thought that your work could make up for what they didn't do. You now know that one person's strength can't keep love going. You know that respect is necessary for connection. This understanding is not anger. It is growth. The spiritual offense against you tried to make you feel like you were hard to love. It tried to make you think that your depth was a bad thing. But I'm changing that lie in your heart.